Woo! You're in a good mood today too, eh?
Woo!
Woo! Why are you so woo?
You know what? It's industry night. And industry night, I feel like I can let my hair down a bit. There's not as much pressure, you know?
It is Friday. Friday is our industry night, so you got your hair down. It looks the same as yesterday.
Pretty much.
Did you cut it a little bit?
No, I didn't cut it. You know what I did?
Lying? Are you
You know what I
lying?
did today? I probably had a shower for the first time in like 6 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm very happy for your wife that you finally showered.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it really concerns her now because on day whatever we are in isolation, I sleep in the spare room. It's best for our marriage that way.
Wow, is this after she punched you in the eye about the Mother's Day gift?
Well, it could be. It's just I don't know if they made enough dog boxes for isolation. Like this, if you had to pay for dog boxes, like I should have shares in that company.
Well, listen, my dog is a little offended about this conversation. You know, she's like, my dog home is my dog home. You should not be sitting in it. If you have to go in the dog box, you should be outside in the cold. Anyway, Industry Fridays is here, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got a very cool person from our industry. I've known her for quite some time now, and she's a cool chick. She's a very cool chick. Other than the fact that she's super successful, very beautiful, very smart, and very tall. I like that about her. She towers over everyone, and you kind of feel that goodness and energy from her whenever she comes in, and I'm hoping it's going to translate well on camera. Let's not keep everybody waiting. For Industry Fridays today, we have Joanne Kells from Solta Medical. Hey!
Hello.
How are you?
Fabulous Fridays.
Yeah! Oh my God, I think I'm the only person that doesn't have a drink.
I have two. Do you want me to virtually send you this?
Thank you. Thank you very much. How are you
doing?
I am fantastic. My daughter went to bed before 8 p.m., which I don't think has ever happened in my entire life.
Well, what did you do to exhaust her so much?
Well, last night she was up till about 10:30, and then I just said, hey, it's 8:30, it's time for bed. And then she got into bed and she looked out the window and it was still light outside. It's never light when she goes to bed. And she's like, Mommy, is it morning time already? And I was like, no. And then I had to block the windows and I shut the door.
So what does this mean for you? What time is she going to wake up now?
Okay, well, I'm actually quite blessed. My daughter sleeps a solid 12 hours a night.
Oh, wow.
So I'm blessed at nighttime, but that does not mean that I'm blessed during the day, because if anyone watches my Instagram stories, which a lot of people follow my daughter daily, she's the most hyper kid in the entire world and is nonstop the entire day.
I wonder where she got that personality from.
Yeah, well, I wonder too.
I don't know.
Just saying. If you do want to catch Joanne on Instagram, guys, her Instagram handle is on the screen right now. It is Joanne J. Kells on Instagram. Joanne, should we jump right into our interview?
Let's go.
All right. Tell me your full name at birth, baby.
Joanne Jennifer Kells.
Joanne Jennifer Kells. Were you named after anybody like
your
your grandmother?
Did I say Kells? I was born with my husband's last name. Erskine.
Erskine.
My parents will be very offended by that one.
You were born to be with him. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's very nice.
He's going to love that.
Yes.
So, Joanne Jennifer Erskine, were you named after anybody?
Yeah, my first name, my aunt it's her middle name. So I guess technically that's where it came from. Jennifer, I don't think it ever came from anywhere. And Erskine is Scottish.
And where were you born?
I was born in Sudbury, Ontario. So Smokestack City.
Yes. And what is your social insurance number? That's kidding. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have two sisters and a brother. So an older brother, and I'm in the middle. Older sister, younger sister.
Amazing. Big family. And you yourself now are married and have a family. Tell me all about your family.
Yes, I am. So I met my husband, Phil, 10 years ago in fine form outside at 2 a.m. outside of a bar. I shockingly met quite a few of my ex-boyfriends that way. I guess 2 a.m. is my lucky time. And so we met then at 2 a.m. And that was 10 years ago tomorrow. So, well, okay, May 16th.
Wow.
Oh, well, happy 10-year anniversary tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
A decade.
You
Now
with
that's not how long we've been married. He took a long time to put the ring on it. I think he was just, I don't know.
he took his yeah, but you had one of the most beautiful weddings I've ever seen in pictures.
Thank you. Thank you.
Legit. Nathan, have you seen her wedding photos? There's one in that set there. If you pull it up, I mean, that's
those are my babies. They're not with us anymore, but my big Great Danes came, and we did it in an orchard in Niagara Lake.
Wedding, right?
Pardon me?
It was a nighttime wedding at the orchard.
Yeah, so we actually did the wedding in reverse. So when we got there, we did all the photos, and then everybody came. We had dinner. We did all the speeches, and then it was underneath a tent. And then beside the tent, we had set up sort of down the aisle. And then we had all of the bridesmaids. We did it at sunset. They all walked down with lanterns. So we did it in reverse. So after all of our speeches, we're like, okay, let's go get married. And then we walked down the aisle. We all got married, and then we went and partied and danced and stuff. It was amazing.
I love that. I actually remember being in the industry. We hadn't known each other that well at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was like, "Oh my God, she had the most outstanding wedding," and they told me about it. I love that you did it in reverse.
Yeah, amazing. A lot of people. Yeah, it was amazing.
Now everybody's gonna copy you.
Yeah,
they should. That's okay.
So tell us about school and growing up in Sudbury.
I didn't grow up in Sudbury, so I should say I was born in Sudbury, and we moved when I was 1. So so I actually grew up outside of Ottawa, which I know, Nathan, is where you're from. So I grew up in Stittsville, which is most people haven't heard of that, but most people have heard of Canada. So then, and it was very small too at that time. So that's actually where I grew up until I went to university, and my whole family still lives there.
Okay, so
sorry, go ahead.
Were your parents government workers or federal government workers, or what?
No, my dad owned grocery stores.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, growing up. So no, but a lot of people get that question, right? In Ottawa, a lot of my sister's friends are government workers. I did grow up learning French immersion. That's the other question that we always get. No, I don't speak French anymore. I don't know French. I completely lost it. And my husband is French Canadian. He lost it too. I wish I knew French. Okay, do you know French,
Nathan? No, I'm getting better. My almost 4-year-old went to a little French preschool, and she's going to full French school hopefully in September, if schools are open in September. So I'm starting to learn my numbers, colors, and some basic stuff. But
you're in preschool.
Yeah, I rely on my wife, because my daughter at 3.5 has already overtaken my French.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I rely on that. Yeah. So tell us, growing up, what did you want to be? Was there?
I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I've always loved animals. I'm obsessed with animals. And then I did a co-op when I was 18, the last year of high school, and I cried every single day because, for those that don't know, vets mainly deal with, sick animals. You just don't think of that. So, I had to help hold the animals while they got put down, and I won't tell you what happens after they get put down. And it was horrifying, and I couldn't do it after that. But my entire life, that's what I wanted to be until I was 18.
So that was a quick way to shatter those dreams, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So let's talk about heroes growing up. Who were your heroes when you were younger?
This is going to be very corny, but I'd have to say my dad. I don't think I really have a specific reason for it. I just still to this day, I talk to my dad every single day. I talk to my mom too when she comes on the phone, but mainly my dad. I talk to him for an hour a day. He gives great advice. I don't know. He just is the best dad, great father, businessman. I've just always looked up to him.
That's so sweet. So do you head down to Ottawa much to visit your parents?
We go down like on all the major holidays. Now we have a big hall because everyone calls our house the zoo because we have 3 cats, 2 dogs, 3 kids, and us and a nanny. Yeah. So we have a massive XL Yukon and we have to put a Thule on top. So wherever we go, it's like, you know, like a pig pen tornado following us and stuff. So we try to go as much as we can, but it's a lot of work moving everyone down there. But I do love Ottawa and visiting my family. I love more though when they come here, and then it's a lot easier.
Cool. Now we've got some photos backstage that I want to bring up, and I think you've got a funny story to tell us. So I want to bring these photos up and talk to us about this.
Yes, so this is one of my funny stories. So New York is one of my favorite places in the entire world. I'm sure a lot of people in New York City is one of their favorite places. So my very first time going to New York City, I went with my older sister, who's 2 years older than me, and we really wanted to go see a show. So for any of you guys that have gone to see shows, they always play in the morning. So we went to go line up for Regis and Kelly, which obviously everyone knows Regis and Kelly doesn't exist anymore. Actually, I don't even know who Kelly's with now. Is it Ryan?
I think it's Ryan Chris.
Thank you. And so when it was Regis and Kelly, we went and we lined up, and we lined up at 5 a.m. That's how early you have to line up because we didn't have tickets. So we get in off stage and we had to go stand by. We got in, and as soon as you get in, I don't know if Gelman's still the producer of that show, but for anyone that did watch it, Gelman is the producer. So he comes on at the beginning and he tells the audience all this stuff, like to get ready and get excited and stuff. So then he said, listen, Regis is not here today. We have a guest host, it's David Duchovny, and we want to have a dancer. So if any of you guys remember The Odd Show, they brought in this like screen and they'd have a shadow dancer behind them. So like right away, for anyone that knows me, like I'll do anything. I'll do anything. So I'm like, I'm getting behind that screen. So, and my sister's the dead opposite. So Gelman says, who wants to be the dancer? So my hand shot up along with like 10 other girls. So he's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a dance off. So we all had to get up in front of that whole audience and do a dance off. Now, I'm not the best dancer, so I don't know. I like to think I'm the best dancer, especially when I have a lot of drinks in me. So maybe I'm a funny dancer, I don't know, but I got chosen. So, and I danced my butt off. So they pull me backstage and they're standing there and, you know, they're radioing and all these things. And then this producer comes up to me. She's like, we're going to change things up a little bit because David Duchovny's the host. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, we'd like to put you in a bikini. And they're like, is that okay? So I was like, okay. So they bring me back and there's all these bikinis lined out. And so I picked one and then I got into a bikini and they didn't give me a robe. They didn't give me anything. And I don't even remember the guy's name, but the second main like person that was coming on like after my dancing, so actually I guess he would have been the main person, was some race car driver, some famous race car driver. I don't know who it was, standing next to me, and I'm shivering in a bikini, and he's standing waiting to go on after my dance moves. So I'm standing there, and then they just kind of give you the finger, and they're like, go. So I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. So I jump in front of this screen, and I'm just like, I just start dancing. And meanwhile, Kelly and David Duchovny are talking. And so what happened was I started, I guess, you know, I thought I was being sexy. So I started doing all these moves. So David Duchovny kept looking back while he was talking to Kelly. And he's like, what's going on there? And so Kelly said, we actually brought her in specifically for you. So they kept it, and the producers were howling. So they're like, okay, we want to do something else. We want you to jump out and we want you to go dance and like grind on David Duchovny. I'm like, okay. So they gave me the signal. So I jump out and I like had to like shimmy or whatever dance move I did. And this is like at 8 a.m, by the way. And I like was like grinding on David Duchovny. And then they like cut. And when they cut, it's like over. And I'm just like standing in my pay attention to me. You know, they're doing makeup and stuff, and I'm just standing there like, where do I go now? But I think my claim to fame is that 2 weeks post, if anyone recalls, he got checked in for sex addiction 2 weeks later.
So it's your fault.
I'm just saying.
It's your fault.
So
is that clip anywhere out in the world?
No, okay, so that was like, it must have been 11 years ago. And I remember at the time, because we didn't know we were even going to be there or on stage or anything. And one of my sister's friends, like, I don't know if you guys remember way back when, but the technology wasn't that great. And we didn't have all the PVRing and the stuff that we have now. So one of them was able to record it and then they lost it. And then I asked them for a video and I have never gotten to see it. It breaks my heart.
Can you just talk us through this? So, like, the one here with your hand up, is that just before you grind him?
No, this is after, where everyone's doing makeup and I'm just standing around and my sister starts taking pictures. So I was like, all right, hey. So I stuck around because, like, I wanted pictures. So, like, no one came to me. So I was like posing back there and taking photos.
And then the other one when you're in behind the screen.
That was while I was dancing. So that was one of the photos. I've got tons of photos of it because that was one of the photos that my sister took while they were on stage. And you probably can't see it because it's blurry, but David Duchovny and Kelly are looking at.
You can see them to the side there.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty much.
That's it for this interview. I think we're done here. You know, like, I mean, like, you just get in bikinis, Nathan, and dance.
Well, you know what, George? I think when we get big enough to host our live show, we're going to have to get Joanne to come out in the bikini.
Yeah. But you have to buy one of those special screens so that we can see, like, the shadow first.
We don't want people to think you're too aggressive.
Yeah, there has to be a lead up to this. Yeah.
So 10 years ago, you met your husband this weekend. Tell me the first thing you said to him or he said to you outside that bar at 2 a.m.
He said, "Want to share a cab?" Because I was looking for a cab. That was what was happening. I was at a pub and he was at Spice Route, if anyone knows, right next door. I don't know if I tell the rest of the story because my parents don't know the full story. And they're
we're gonna find out eventually.
This is our show. Nobody. So just feel free. So he said, "Want to share a cab?" He said,
"Want to share a cab?" I looked him up and down, like, you know, and I was like, "No, but you can walk me home." So we walked home because I wasn't very far. Like, I lived like 2 blocks away. I don't even know why I was catching a cab, to be honest, because I lived like 2 blocks away. And we walked home and he came up and then I promptly kicked him out at 5 a.m. And I remember he called me the next day. I must have given him my phone number at some point. And I remember being so confused. I was like, "Ooh." I'm like, "Oh, hi." And then we talked every day since, and yeah.
The rest is history. So when did you actually find out his name? The next day?
I think I might have remembered it, but I know that for sure I wanted nothing to do with him because he had kids.
Okay. Well, look
so at that, I was 29, and I was like, I don't want anybody with kids. So I kept talking to him, but I would only invite him over at like 2 a.m. for like a good month before we went on an actual date.
I love it. I love it. Tell me your first celebrity crush.
Donnie Wahlberg, New Kids on the Block.
Oh, what's your favorite?
Anyone that's 1981, they're probably gonna name one of the New Kids.
What's your favorite New Kids song?
Cover Girl. That was the very first Cover Girl. That was the very first song I remember I ever heard.
How does it go? I don't even know that one.
Oh, oh, you're my cover girl. Oh, oh, oh.
We had another New Kids on the Block. Who do we have those New Kids on the Block in the show? We had someone else that was New Kids on the Block.
So what song did they sing?
Step One. Was it?
Step by Step.
Oh, Step One.
It might have been Sasha from Victoria Park, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. She did Step by we did Step.
She must be younger. Sasha must be younger than me because technically I think that was the second album. So.
Well, Sasha actually couldn't remember a song. She said another one, and that's the one I remembered. I remembered Step by Step.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of their most popular ones at the time, anyways. Were you bullied growing up?
No, my husband, I think, thinks I was the bully.
That says a lot.
No, I definitely wasn't. Maybe sometimes
You were the bully?
Might have been thinking back, which is awful, but
Is there anybody you'd like to apologize to on Skinterviews?
No, not.
Okay. Since we've established that nobody watches our show, tell me the last lie you told your husband.
My husband. Probably. Oh, actually, that's easy because I usually tell him every day for a bit that I'm still working. So, like right now in COVID, I'm working, and then when I come downstairs, London, who's my youngest, wants me immediately. So for me to have some time to myself, I need to stay up here and not work. So usually on a daily basis, I'm like, no, I'm still working. Like I'll go down to get a coffee and they'll be like, are you still working? I'm like, yes. And then I'll come back.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah. Let's talk cooking. Who's the chef in the house?
Oh, me, 100%. My husband can only do breakfast sometimes. Like he made it for me for Mother's Day, which was great, but then it's like out the window. But that's okay because I love cooking. But that's good because he does the cleaning and the laundry and all that stuff. So
you've got a good deal going on there.
I do actually. I have a very, very, very good husband.
Yeah. And what's your signature dish?
Ooh, I can make a lot of stuff. I mean, tonight I made it like a shrimp pasta.
But like, let's talk about if you're really looking to impress. So, say if you could invite.
Usually, it would be a risotto. I'd probably do a mushroom risotto, a steak, asparagus. I love having dinner parties, so I create menus with like full like aperitifs and like I'll do like ice in the middle and like I love dinner parties.
Okay, so we're coming over for dinner once this isolation is over. But that leads me to the next question. If you were hosting dinner and you could invite any 3 people in the world, dead or alive, obviously you're going to do a gourmet menu like you just explained. Who would those people be and why?
Okay, well, the first question is my husband invited?
Your husband's there. He's part of the dinner.
No, that makes a difference. Actually, because if he wasn't there, I would say like Ryan Gosling and he can't wear a shirt. But if he's there, then the whole people is going to change.
Your husband's taking the kids, he's gone, and because Ryan Gosling's there without a shirt, I'm coming. Keep going.
Okay, so Ryan Gosling, check. He's there. Yeah. So for me, honestly, like when I have dinner parties or anything, even just talking with anyone, I gravitate to funny people. So I would probably do Kevin Hart because that's my favorite comedian. I think he's hysterical. And I love reality TV. I watch The Bachelor, Vanderpump. I watched that Too Hot to Handle show, all that stuff. So I would say Caitlin Bristow. She's Canadian, so I love her. She seems hilarious. You guys should have her on your podcast because she has a podcast and she just seems so awesome. So that's what I picked.
We'd love to. We'd love to. Do they have shirts on or shirts off?
Caitlin and I will decide when we see each of you. And maybe you might take them off sometimes depending on the meal. Or the song playing in the background.
So quick question. I've got a couple of questions for those answers. Tell me, Ryan Gosling must be the hottest thing at the moment because Dr. Pimple Popper also mentioned him in her interview.
No
yeah.
Well, she wanted to know if he was a popaholic. She did not say hot, but she was very curious to know if he was a popaholic.
You know what it is about him? He's just like he has this hotness about him that's so cool too, but not douchey in any way. I don't know how to describe it. And he's got style. He's just, I don't know. He's
there.
Maybe we need to get him on Skinterviews as well. Maybe we need to look him up, George.
I think you should.
Now, the second thing, reality TV. Like, my wife and I love junk TV like that.
You were the one that told me to start watching Love Island.
Yeah,
Which
what do you think?
obsession, absolute obsession. I ran through like all the seasons that I could get on Hey You. It was the best show. And then you know how you get bored during some of the episodes, but like even like when you're cooking or doing anything, like it was always playing in the background because there's like 60 episodes a season.
Yeah, I love it. I've finished all the seasons now, and we're not going to get one this season because of COVID, obviously. So we're going to have to wait maybe 2 years to see another Love Island, which is.
I know, and I'm so upset. Now, do you add all of them to your Instagram? Because like I have them all on my Instagram now, and I follow all of them.
No, but Summer House, I add them to my Instagram, and that's a good show.
I've watched bits, but I haven't fully gotten into it yet.
We're losing George now, so let's go back to something else. But my next question for you, Joanne, is we work in similar roles in the industry, and we both travel a lot, and our lives are very, very hectic, obviously before COVID. So I'd love to know what you do in your spare time to relax and chill out.
COVID has been very interesting for everyone, obviously, but in our roles, as you know, I would travel every single week. So like when COVID first started, I was like, oh my God, you know, this is awful. But at the same time, it's kind of a nice break from flying all the time. And I get to see my daughter all the time. And then I was talking to one of the girls that I work with today, and like having to work, because we still work a lot, and then with the kids at home, it definitely is a lot. So I definitely think people need to relax. So my favorite thing is taking the dogs out for a walk. So we have Bronte. I live in Oakville, so Bronte Provincial Forest is right here. And so I take one of my favorite things is taking dogs for a walk. I just love being in the forest. And so I take the dogs, and it's like leash free, except when I had my Great Danes, I don't know if anyone's ever had Great Danes. Both my Great Danes were 160 pounds and 220 pounds. So I couldn't walk them by myself. So I would walk them in the pitch black, like at night, as soon as it would get dark out, because then I could take them off the leash and people weren't afraid. And there's coyotes everywhere, all over the place. Yeah. And one time we got chased by coyotes back to our house.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's what I do. I take the dogs for walks.
Okay, let's talk a bit of work now. What got you into medical aesthetics? What steered you in this direction?
So I went to Western for health science, and then I was thinking, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was thinking I wanted to do something in medical. So I was kind of thinking of being a dentist. I talked to some different dentists and surgeons in the industry. So I was thinking that would be interesting. And then I just didn't want to keep going through that much school. I commend all the doctors that went through that much school. And then I went into sort of like a post certificate of regulatory affairs for pharmaceuticals, which I didn't know anything about it. So I went into it. It was great, but it was definitely not my personality. Like a lot of just, reading through, to me, quite boring. And all of my teachers were like, what are you doing? Like, you should be in sales. And I didn't know anything about sales. So I was like, okay. So I applied to a bunch of pharmaceutical companies when I was in my mid-20s. And then I started working for a pharmaceutical company called Solvay, which doesn't exist anymore. A lot of the pharmaceutical companies don't. And that was how I got into the industry. And then from there, I worked there for 2 years. And then I had put my resume out into other places to go sort of to move up. And then I started working for Allergan. So that's how I got into the aesthetic industry.
Wow. I've known you now since, I think when I first met you were a rep, just a basic rep. And then I watched your career accelerate and move through to where you are today, where you're Canadian national sales manager, which is amazing. And it's most deserved. I've watched you work to get there. So
thank you, George. No one could forget you, George. I 100% remember.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
At the events. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing, but hey, you know what?
Of course it's a good thing.
It works. I'm here today. Look at me now.
Of course it's a good thing.
Tell me one thing people don't know about what you do that you wish they did.
So first, I forgot. Because I work for Bosch Health, I am disclosing that everything that I say is completely my opinion. It has nothing to do with Bosch Health. It has nothing to do with Solta Medical. So one thing I wish that people knew that they don't know in our industry. I would say how hard it can be. So when I first started and I worked in pharmaceutical sales, you'd always get a lot of people joking like, oh, pharma reps. What was that saying? Like Tuesday, Thursdays, 10 to 2. And, people, our industry is nothing like that. And we work really hard. We build strong relationships, and it can be difficult because the other thing is I find all the people in our industry are such great friends, and we all have, a lot of us is very similar personalities. Yeah. So, you're kind of coming up against your friends sometimes in different things. So that makes it hard in that aspect. And then, you're going to all these different clinics, and sometimes you go into clinics and, they see you as salespeople, or, they don't want to see you, and it can be hard. And we work really hard.
Yeah. Very good. As far as your disclaimer is concerned, I'm really hoping that at least Solta will watch the episode.
Of course they will. Of course, my people don't recognize me because they haven't seen me in makeup in 2 months. And normally I'm in a bathrobe with my bun and right here, and I look quite disheveled. But
you're so cute. Tell me who you look up to in our industry. After all these years, somebody you really look up to in our industry, and if you can't think of someone off the top of your head, someone you would love to sit and have a conversation like this with about our industry.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know it's usually me that you would say, but
I don't know how to say exactly, because it's so funny, because it's such a different industry, because you've got your physicians that have been around for a long time that we've all known for years. And then you've got all the younger crew that's all up and coming, and they're both very different buckets.
Yeah.
And I would love to sit with a couple people from both buckets, because, the industry is changing. I don't know.
That's okay. We can come back to it. If I'm the only person that's unforgettable, we'll accept it.
Hey, there's a lot, honestly, there's a lot of...
Well, don't ruin it now, Joanne. Let me just close a little.
Okay, you.
Thank you.
Honestly, he has this way of grinding down every guest we have. Devote their love to him.
No, don't be using the word grinding down when she was grinding down on me. It ain't nothing, okay?
It's amazing. He just wears them down. I feel sorry for our guests.
Wow. Joanne, do you feel worn down?
Absolutely not. I can keep going. Until past 2 a.m., as you know.
You let us go. You call your husband. We got that. We got it. All right.
So let's talk about COVID, because it's something that's hit us hard. It's impacted our industry. It's impacted industries all around the world. It's impacted countries all around the world. Mm-hmm. So firstly, I'd like to know how you're personally dealing with COVID.
I think from a compassionate point of view, I feel the worst for small businesses. It's horrible to see, every day I keep seeing these restaurants, these bars, these, all these people losing their jobs, everybody's struggling, and it's hard to see. And when you yourself are working, you still have a job, some of it is guilt that you're still working and you still have your job. So I feel very bad for those people, and it's, that's so hard to deal with. So there's that side of the coin. There's the side of the coin where I'm somebody that always wants people to be positive and to see the bright side of things, because I always believe things will work out. I always believe that there's solutions to things. So on my positive side of my brain, I want people to at least see the positive side to things, in that if you're spending more time with your families, that's a positive thing. If you're, whatever you're able to do. So from those aspects, I'm seeing that side. But, stories come up. It's hard to know how to feel.
Yeah,
for sure.
and I love your outlook on it, though. I think the only thing we can do in this situation is be as positive as we can, because otherwise we're just going to dig ourselves and others a bigger hole that's going to be harder to climb out of. So on a positive note, in regards to COVID, say tomorrow restrictions fully closed down, we're allowed to do whatever we want. What is the one thing you're really missing and you can't wait to go out and do after the restrictions are over?
Restaurants. I miss going to a restaurant and just being around people and having that noise and loud atmosphere, and then having a dinner party at my house. Those that definitely are the two things that I miss the most. 100%.
What type of restaurant?
I like loungy type places where it's like a smaller, busy type place with cool music, and it's darker, and it's selling all these tapas, and people are also all around the bar, and very social places.
Absolutely love it. I'm dying to go for sushi. Like, I've really missed going for sushi. Anyhow, if I could ask, if Joanne had a magic wand and she could change something immediately about the world, what do you think is holding the world back today?
Holding the world back. I mean, right away, I think like what, at least around me, when I see things, other people holding themselves back, I think it's caring too much about what they think other people think. I think that if people realize that people don't really judge, and even if they did, who cares, and just relaxed and had fun, and everyone was nice to each other and said hello walking down the street, and we as human beings were just more open and friendly, I think it would solve a lot of issues in the world.
I agree
with you on that one. So we are getting towards the end of our interview. When we get to this point of the interview, we do the quick fire.
You're excited to let me go, Nathan.
No, I love the quick fire
question. He loves this part.
This is the best part of the night.
Rapid fire questions. We ask you a bunch of questions. They're usually this or that, or yes or no, or one word answers, and you got to fire them off as quick as possible without thinking too much.
Okay.
Okay, ready? And you can only say pass once. You get one pass. All right, here we go. Red or blue?
Red.
Black or white?
Black.
Black or red?
Black.
Black or green?
Black.
Mom or dad?
Dad.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite drink?
Red wine.
Red wine or champagne?
Red wine.
Stuck in isolation for 12 more weeks. You can only do one product for your skin with you. What do you take?
Is this a skincare product or a treatment?
Skincare product.
Sunscreen.
Stuck in isolation for 12 more weeks. You can only do one skincare treatment. Which one do you choose?
Isn't that the same question?
No, one's a skincare product, one's a skincare treatment.
Oh, treatment. Oh, Fraxel.
Fraxel. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Burgers or pasta?
Burgers.
Burgers or French fries?
Burgers.
Burgers or pizza?
Pizza.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Nathan or me?
Okay, if this means somebody can play Barbies with my daughter, I'm going to say George.
Oh!
I feel like he'll be able to do more characters. All day long.
Such good friends in Mexico.
I know, but I feel like he has more full.
Why you picked me?
I think he can do more characters and play with her in the Barbie room.
You haven't seen me in the Barbie room. I have two daughters.
I know, but I could see more like different characters and stuff coming out of George for his dolls.
I'm getting destroyed in this question.
Is that what everyone said?
She could have said pass, but she just wanted to be.
She had the pass.
She wanted
to say pass except for me.
To be honest.
Hang on, did everybody say pass except for me?
No, everyone's been picking me.
I'm getting crucified.
No.
Sorry, Nathan.
It's been pretty 50-50, but we interviewed someone the other day, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Nathan." Like there was it was like 100%. Like there was no like. Some people are like, "Oh, both. Don't do that to us."
Yeah.
And this person was just like, "Nathan." I was like, I asked the question. Okay, you know what? If I had to pick, I would pick Nathan too.
Hey, Joe, I don't blame you. I'd pick George, to be honest.
I need somebody to take over the Barbie room.
Yeah, I'm sick of my own company, even in isolation. My wife must hate me right now.
I will tell you this. Nathan would be way more fun in the Barbie room because he's got the accent. and you know, he does this little voice when I've heard him playing with his daughters
but if my daughter doesn't understand the accent, she'll get it.
Oh yeah, but then he does the whole Barbie voice. Like, girl, your Barbie needs
You want me to change my answer, George?
No.
Oh, Joanne, it's so sad we're coming to the end of this interview, but I've got 2 questions. But before I do ask these questions and pass it on to George to close the show, just want to say thank you so much. We love you. We adore you. It's always great to have you on the show.
I love you guys. And I think my husband extra loves you because I put on makeup for the first time in 2 months.
Oh, wow. And you know what? And it's Friday night.
Go meet him
So
at 2
I extra love you.
Go meet him at 2 a.m. Nothing.
Well, a bit of time before it's 2 a.m. So that's good. So the last 2 questions we ask every guest before they leave. The first one is, what's your current skincare routine?
Mm-hmm. I use Vivier. I use like a full kit. So I do a cleanser, I do a toner, I do vitamin C, then I do a moisturizer. During the day, I do a sunscreen, I do my neck.
Love it.
It's amazing.
You're covering all bases there. And then the last question we ask guests is always, who would you like to see on the show next? And can you help make that happen for us?
I have a whole list of people I think you guys should have on the show. At the top of my list, I really think you guys should have Jason Emmer from California. He's amazing. He's funny. He's nice. And I'm going to send him a message and see if he'll come on 100%.
You know what? He could be someone good to build up for season 2, George.
Yeah, we really like him. We're actually we've sent him a message, and if you send a message too, it only sweetens the deal. So we'd love to have him on.
And how can you refuse that beautiful face of yours, Joanne?
Oh, thank you.
You are pretty, honey. I want to say a massive thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you do in our industry, because you know you really have made an impact. And you say that I'm unforgettable, but truly you are someone that's unforgettable, and that's why I remembered you from the day we met. And I always remember you as being someone that's super happy, super smiling, and I love how honest you are, and that's always come across your positivity. So thank you for being here today. And to everybody that wants to follow Joanne, go over to her Instagram, Joanne J. Kells. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, skin.terviews. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/skin.terviews. You can also catch us on our LinkedIn page and our YouTube page, Skinterviews by Nathan and George. I want to thank you for watching our Industry Fridays with Joanne Kells from Solta Medical. I want you to take care of your family. I want you to love yourselves and your neighbors and everyone you possibly can. And I can't wait till there's a time when we get messages that you could go out and hug someone. So in the meantime, hug your family, love yourself, and always, 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 always take care of your skin. All right? We'll see you on the next episode of Skinterviews.